It's not intuitive to someone that's just picked up the game on how to do that.
There's people that play different challenges, like the one chunk and super flats. What are they going to do?
So you're taking a process that is tedious and adding more tedium to it.
Hello and welcome to Minecraft Lab, where I explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am Minor Thoughts, and with me is a man whose wood is so polished, it shines all the time. Atrosh.
I've literally got no words. How are you, Minor? I'm just going to bypass that one completely this week.
I'm doing good for a Friday night, Saturday morning for you.
Pre-breakfast, that's how early it is for me today. So, if my thoughts are rambling and don't make sense, it's because I have nothing in my belly.
Yeah. Well, I have coffee, and that's what's important.
That and working in creative. That's what's important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. For the viewers watching this on YouTube, I apologize for the hair. It's out of control. Usually I show up all nicely shaved and shined and everything, but yeah, it's been a long week.
It's wild and woolly, mate. Wild and woolly. It's just totally out of control. It's like Albert Einstein.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't get it to do anything.
It must take you a long time in the morning to get that ready before work.
Well, so we've started getting snapshots, and usually we do, as the snapshots come out, we talk about them. But this one, I think we have to devote a whole episode to, because there is a lot of controversy surrounding it.
It's been quite the week on the, I'd like to say Twitter sphere. What do we say now? The X sphere?
X sphere. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think.
The Twitter sphere. Let's go with that.
Yeah, Elmo is doing something weird.
Elmo.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard him called Elmo once, so.
This is totally unrelated, but do you notice that a lot of brands are going to black and white logos these days? There are so many going black and white. It's like we're all going colorblind or something.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely the trend. Anyway, not even what we're here to talk about. Anyway.
Snapshot.
There we go.
Snapshot for 1.20.2. This is not 1.20 or 1.21. Not the next update. This is going to be in this cycle. It's labeled as experimental, so but there's an uproar because of what has been proposed.
As usual, the community is split. The community is divided. There are very clear lines being drawn, and it is. I don't think it's unforeseen that they were going to look at it, because I know, giving letting the cat out of the bag, we were planning at some stage to do what is coming in the next update, and in the preparation for that podcast, for that episode, I listed a whole lot of things that I thought they might look at, and one of them was actually villager rebalancing. So it was like they're actually doing it now; they're not waiting. So I don't think it's unforeseen that they were going to look at it. I think what is unforeseen is the way they've gone with it, because that is
so definitely
different.
Right. And when I first looked at it, I thought, I'll get your opinions and we'll go over other people's opinions on it. But I thought I kind of like the direction. I understand what they're thinking, but we'll get into that. One thing, other than villager rebalancing, they made the Wandering Trader better trades, better. He's got better wares. So I do like that. That's not really our focus today. It's the villager trades.
I don't think anyone's complained about the Wandering Trader being changed. And really, reality, the Wandering Trader showed up. And if you haven't messed with its loot table behind the scenes or added in the mini block thing, you see a Wandering Trader show up. Now, unless you're playing something like a one chunk challenge where you might be able to get something off the trader that you can't get at the moment, you just see them and you go, oh, thank you, free leads. That's your thought. Now...
No, most people say, oh, target practice.
Well, that too. That's what I was applying with free leads. But yes, I still don't think they're immensely useful with the changes, but it's definitely a big step in the right direction. And yeah, at least you would probably be tempted to at least look at what he's doing before just instantly going for the bow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sword or, oh, I need some leads.
Exactly. But so I think that part of it, no controversy. Next part, big controversy.
Yes. They're changing the way villager trades are going to be done. It's really, I mean, we got to look at this as it's in the experimental phase, and they're looking for feedback. And oh my God, there is a lot of feedback, both good and bad. We'll just get into it. The villager trades are going to be changed in different ways. The first thing is that you could only cure them once if they're infected and get that big discount. So that was one of the things, and there's not a whole lot of uproar about that. It's the other thing.
As a whole, villages needed a rework. They needed a rebalancing, and they needed to be looked at, because the reality is you can actually play Minecraft without mining at all, because villages will give you everything that you need. And it's not that hard to actually do. You know, you set up a Fletcher, a good bamboo farm, you've got sticks for days, that gives you basically unlimited emeralds. And then between librarians and, you know, armorers and toolsmiths, you can get everything you need. You can get all the enchantments that you need, basically just staying in one chunk, just doing all these cyclical trades. And the XP, you know, there's a XP glitch with cartographers and, not a glitch, it's a exploit, I should say, with cartographers and librarians, where you just buy glass, turn them into glass panes and just do a big revolving circle. You just, basically, it's infinite emeralds. Yes, I agree with villages needing to be nerfed in some respect. Of course, then when you add in the constant changes with the zombies, zombie cure, everything becomes one emerald. You get unalived 1,000 blocks away, you lose your gear. Yeah, you go 4 emeralds, you got a full set of diamond armor again.
Exactly.
So yes, I get it, but I don't think they've really looked at those changes yet. At the moment, it's all the changes around enchanting books.
In case you don't know, what they wanted to do is make the librarians biome specific, meaning you'll have guaranteed books from librarians in certain areas. So I forget all the trades. One I do know for sure is the master trade for the swamp villager, a villager that's comes from the swamp. Of course, there's no village in the swamp, but that may change. But if you breed up a villager in the swamp, the highest level trade is mending, guaranteed. And a lot of the other biomes, librarians from those biomes, their master level trade is, you know, something that we use a lot, like Unbreaking 3, and I forget which biome that's from.
Well, it's not actually.
So there is...
no. Yes, technically what you're saying is correct. It's Unbreaking 2, Fortune 2, Efficiency 3. You don't actually get the top level enchant of those books.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's part of the uproar is, okay, if they're going to do that, that means, you know, to get Fortune 3, you need to buy 2 books, combine them. So you need more XP to upgrade your stuff. So is the whole XP system with anvils needed to be looked at again as well? Because I think Azuma in his video on this, he did a test to get, I think it was a pick, like fully enchanted with Fortune. I think from memory, a couple of days since I watched it. And the final thing, if you combine, because usually, you know, you combine all the 4 books up and then you put the book onto your pick. The last one was 36. It was immense. It would have been close to 50, 60 levels to do all of it for one pick. So to me, that seems a little bit unbalanced, because the last one to put the book actually onto the pick was 36 levels just by itself. So
yeah, and you obviously know a lot more, or have researched it a lot more than I have.
I have, because I'm a villager-centered player. So when I start a new world, unless it's a challenge world, when I start a new world, my beeline is always straight to the villages, because it's such a shortcut to easiness.
Right, and that's a lot of people's. That's their first priority is villagers. There's people that play different challenges, like the One Chunk and Super Flats. What are they going to do? They're going to be out trades because, you know, they're locked in. Say they're locked into a chunk of a single biome or a super flat world that's just nothing but plains? How are they going to get those other trades?
To me, it adds to the challenge because you're playing a challenge, so it's a challenge. So it would add to the challenge. That's my mentality. But yes, for those that like playing on super flat, you have got a problem on your hands, quite a big one. I think it's all coming back to this whole getting people out of their bases and their base area and getting out into the world and explore. To find these things, you need to go and find these things in chests. I think that's the way they're heading if you're reading between the lines a little bit. Go out, you don't have to combine it with villages to get a Fortune 3. Go out and find it. You don't have to go to a swamp to get a mending. Go out and find it. I think that's the line they're on. Overall, my problem, I got two problems with it. One, and it's more a Minecraft problem as a whole, is it's not intuitive to someone that's just picked up the game on how to do that, right? To get a mending book, let's just say to get a mending book, you've got to go create a village in a swamp. As a new player, if you thought as a new player, one, you've never seen a swamp villager because they don't exist in the game unless you create them, unless by you accidentally, maybe you got a village that's on the border of a swamp and then they accidentally breed there. No, what is this? But normally you don't see it. So you're not going to know these things exist as a new player. How would you even think of, let's go and take a couple of villages to a swamp, get a swamp villager and go for it. That's my problem. It's not intuitive to the new player. And that's a Minecraft thing as a whole. I remember back when I started in 2020, if I didn't have DTG, my son, showing me stuff, it would have not been intuitive, a lot of the gameplay mechanics. And the stuff that I know now when I go to do stuff is not necessarily intuitive. Even Redstone, some of it's still a mystery to me, and I've been playing for a few years. So that's a Minecraft thing as a whole, and maybe a whole different topic for another day. The other problem that I've got with it on the surface is, I'm in favor of the changes, and I like that they're looking at rebalancing, and as you and I have discussed, the whole adventuring thing is great. The problem that I've got with it at a core level is, at the end of the day, you're still going to be able to get villagers in a villager trading hall, if you really want to, that are going to give you the same thing that you basically got now. All it's adding is more steps to it. So you're taking a process that is tedious and adding more tedium to it. Technically, probably not what you want to achieve. And I don't know whether they've considered that or not, where my head immediately went with it. And even though the more I've looked into it, the more I understand the thinking and the philosophy behind it, and I like it, it comes back to, this is still really tedious.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. You had mentioned, you only can get swamp villagers in the swamp, and they look totally different. It's the same thing for jungles. The jungle villager is one of the better looking villagers, in my opinion. Do you think they would consider putting in more villages within other biomes? Maybe even in different dimensions, such as the end. Look, if you follow game theory, he does a lot of Minecraft lore and the end cities and things like that. What if they were to rework the end, and that might be, the next podcast, what's coming down the pike. What if they were to put more villages in different places, different biomes, maybe even the end, have villages there within the end cities, if they were to redo the end?
I think they would need to be careful with that, because you've already got a system of villages. And what I mean by careful is look at what they're trading and what they offer. And I'm going to come at this from two perspectives. So if you look at villages now in vanilla, there's already, let's call them exploitable things that you can make the game really, really, really easy in terms of getting at things that you need without having to go out there. I like playing modded Minecraft as well, and obviously I'm on the Nugget SMP at the moment as well as Interrealms. So on that we're running all of Fabric 6 mod pack, and that adds a whole lot of different villages to the mix. And this is a problem I have with some modded mod packs, is they actually give you too much, gets broken in some ways. And villages is one of those. So, they add in like a forestry one, and that forestry villager gives you basically access to all the trees and all the logs. They give you and where I was going with this was the enderologist, which is the end guy.
What?
And you can buy elytra, you can buy shulker boxes, basically what I discovered with all the fabric with that mod pack, because they've added in so much, there's so much that's game breaking that you don't actually need to get out in the world and do it, which is a systematic problem of villages as a whole as they stand at the moment. So if they were to go that route of adding in more, I think they need to be careful. I personally would like to see them keep the villages that they've got, maybe add in naturally spawning jungle and swamp ones, because it's not intuitive that that's what you've got to do. Take out that whole, because as it stands at the moment, if you want to get a mending villager with this snapshot, you need to go find a swamp, which could be thousands of blocks away. You then need to take 2 villagers there and set up a villager breeder to breed them, to get 1 villager, and then if you want to take it, then bring that villager all the way back. It adds tedium to it. I don't like that. I like the direction. I know some people are dead against it on every level. I don't mind it, but it's just, let's get it right from a balance perspective, not adding tedious things to the whole thing. And jungles as well. I don't know what is in the jungle, but you basically got to do that process twice because you haven't got naturally spawning villages in those 2 biomes. So you actually have to. And if you spawn in a world and you've got one that's 2,000 blocks away and the other one's in a different direction that's 5,000 blocks away, you got to do that process twice to get these books, or go and hope that you're going to go and find them in naturally generated chests, which is going to be quicker, exploring or setting up villages.
See, that makes me think that maybe they are looking at adding more villages in the swamp and the jungles, and maybe have them generate more. So you don't have to go thousands of miles or blocks to find a village to get these different villagers. But you're right. I could see where they're trying to balance things, and maybe they're going to look at not only villagers, but how books are obtained, enchanting, XP, all that. I'm not sure what people are getting at, seeing on X. I still want to call it Twitter, with ambles need to be tweaked as well.
I think that's because of the XP thing, like we were saying before. It's because it stacks with how much XP you got to use to put in chance on stuff.
Okay.
And what they're doing, and it's because those villages are only giving you like Fortune 2, Efficiency 3. You have to combine books multiple times, therefore it's more XP. And as it is, the anvil thing is ridiculous sometimes with how much it really costs.
Okay, now that brings it back to my memory is, and someone did a video on it, may have been Azuma or someone else, that you get to a point to where you're enchanting things and it just says too expensive. And if they make this change, you're going to run into that a lot. So that whole thing needs to be changed on, how you enchant things, how much XP is required to stack books, or just put enchants on something.
Well, I think there's a reason why it's marked as experimental. They do want that feedback, and it's a good thing that they've done it. And I think a lot of the uproar comes from people immediately going, this is what they got. They don't think. This is what they're immediately going to do. This is not wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Put your feedback back through to them on their website or on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. Yeah, be heard. This is your opportunity. Don't sit there and whinge about it. Put your feedback in. But give it a go. Think logically about it. Just don't go immediately, they're changing my villages and the game's not going to be as easy for me as it once was. But give it a go and put some logical thought onto it, because I'll be honest, my initial thought was, this is poo. No. But then the more I thought about it, the more I researched it for this podcast, was like, actually, I see their logic behind it and it makes sense. And the way that they've split the books up across all the villages actually makes thematic sense. So like the snow villager gives you Frostwalker.
Right.
The desert villager gives you fire protection. Makes sense to me.
Right.
I would actually like to see it maybe go a little bit further, in that it's not just librarians that give you enchants, because you've got a whole range of villager types there that, let's face it, no one uses. When was the last time you set up a butcher?
Right.
When was the last time you set up a fisherman? Unless you've got a guardian farm and you want to get rid of your cod that you get, or you can trade it off to the villagers, to the fishermen.
Exactly.
The shepherd, there's a whole range. Basically, when you set up a trading hall, at least for me, there's only maybe 4 or 5 that you actually use. The rest you don't even think about. They don't even come into it. So do they spread it out that you actually need to give thought to a shepherd? You actually need to give thought to the other types to be able to get everything that you need.
Well, I don't know. We are in snapshot season, so this is about the time when we start seeing things before they start announcing. Well, no, that's not true. They announce the new update in the fall, and then we start seeing snapshots. But this development cycle is really weird how they're doing things. When people saw this, they thought, "Oh, this is part of 1.21. It's still part of the Tales and Trails update." So we'll see what happens with this, and then hopefully here soon, next couple weeks or months, we'll find out what 1.21 is.
And I think that you're right. It is part of that Tales and Trails, and that's why I think their logic behind it is get out there and explore. And I do think, and we'll talk about this, do I let the cat out of the bag and say the next podcast is all about what we think 1.21 will be? I think they are looking at biome changes. I don't know whether you saw it, but Doc M put a video, shared a thing from Nembom, I think it was. He had a camel table sort of thing. He put all camels together and looked weird. But Doc picked up in the background there was layered sand, and they come out. Nembom said, "Oh no, it's just retextured snow for experiments and that for testing the lighting."
No,
biome changes. They're looking at biome updates.
I did see a post myself, one of the developers, I forget his name, they said, what if we don't update the end? What if we update this instead? And it was a screenshot of the Badlands.
I saw that too. The end needs work. The end needs work.
Yes. Oh, so much.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that in the next one because, there's probably a good reason why they won't touch the end. There's a good reason for it, but we'll leave that for the next. But in terms of this one, I think everyone, for the most part, would agree that it's a start in the right direction of finding a balance. I don't think you're going to find many that's going to go, this is perfect, roll it out.
Right. You can't please everybody. You just can't.
You can't. And we've seen that multiple. It doesn't matter what they do, someone's going to be unhappy. But it's nice to see, they are taking the getting out and exploring the world as an important feature of Minecraft, because that had been lacking.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at rebalancing villages because, especially with raid farms and the ability to basically get unlimited emeralds in multiple ways. And that's probably the next thing they would probably want to look at after this is raid farms, because ultimately, it doesn't matter what you do with villages. The existence of a raid farm means emeralds are just...
Right. And you don't have to really, once you've got that set up, you really don't have to do a whole lot of exploring. You just trade.
That's it. And really, the two, what I do like is the two apparently most valuable resources in the world should be diamonds and emeralds. Diamonds because it gives you the best gear. Emeralds because it's technically supposed to be the currency of the world. But no one
diamonds. We forgot to mention this. And I know we're kind of wrapping this whole thing up, but there was one other change. Diamond generation in the deep slate levels is going to be, there's going to be more. So that's going to be part of this possible experimental, we don't know.
Also something that no one's disappointed about or controversial at all. I think everyone agrees.
Exactly.
The generation down there of the diamond levels was a bit on the low.
And the diamonds have become more valuable with the armor trims and netherite upgrades. So
yeah, if you're going to rebalance the villages, rebalance the way you get emeralds and make emeralds valuable in the game too, because I think technically they're supposed to be, because they are the currency of the world. And I don't know about you, but if you're going through a cave and you see an emerald up on the wall, yeah, there's an emerald, and you just sort of don't care about it. Whereas it should be, whoa, emerald, got to get that, because it's the rarest ore in the game. It's the rarest thing in the game, really. The way it generates is.
Yeah, exactly.
The way, and that's the way I look. It's the way you buy things in the game with villages. It's the currency, but raid farms and the way the villages are set up between villages themselves and raid farms, emeralds are not really a thing. They're not really a care factor. Most people, either iron or emerald, will make their beacons out of it. So I think going down the road that they're on, I think there's a lot of offshoots for a lot of different things that they need to make balanced in conjunction with this. So I don't think this is going to be a minor change, and I don't think it's going to be a change that's going to come quickly. That's why it's in experiment.
Exactly. I think that about wraps it up for this discussion. If you'd like to join in the discussion, you can find us on the socials. X, that's going to be hard to get used to. Our handle there is MCLab_podcast. I remember this time.
Good.
And you can also find us on the awesome website Keegers has built, Keegers02, interrealmssmp.com. Yeah, that's it. interrealmssmp.com. You can find us as well as all the other podcasts there. If you want to send us an email, it is minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com.
Well done, Miney. You got through it this week. Very impressive. Yeah, I guess that's all it from me. And I'm, interested to see what the next iteration of this Village of Change looks like. Fundamentally changing the way we play the game.
Right. We'll find out from week to week the changes. And as we record these podcasts, since we're in snapshots, we'll update you with the different episodes. I'm going to get back to blowing things up, and Trosh here is going to get back to playing with wood. The only way you're gonna shine. It's the only way you're gonna shine.
I'm going to stop there before I have to cut too much out of this. Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.
Recording, sir.
Okay.
The pressure's on.
The pressure? What pressure?
No pressure.
I remember everything I'm supposed to say.
Yep, totally.
Because I have it written down.
Yep.
But not really.
And no one watches this anyway, apparently, so.
Yeah, this kind of stuff usually ends up on the end.
Usually.